Yeah, this is Cole speaking. Adidas. You saw I ran 2:16 at London?
Well done, Cole, you look amazing!
Nah, I can't be. I kept that pretty under wraps. Barely mentioned it. You want to support me in developing as an athlete and run Berlin Marathon in 10 weeks time? Yeah. I'm training as we speak, actually. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, that's definitely doable. So wait, let me just get this right. You want to support me as an athlete, financially, gear, fly me out to Berlin, just out of the goodness of your heart? Sounds pretty good to me. Count me in.
Also got Cole Gibbons in there, the Tonbridge AC athlete, ran his marathon debut in London, ran 2:16, a superb marathon debut from Gibbons.
Cole Gibbons in there, he's running phenomenally over half marathon. He's just doing it all this year, isn't he?
So then, bit of a change of plan. Berlin Marathon in 10 weeks time. I'll drink to that. So it's absolutely no secret that I've been milking my performance at London. Obviously I had a great day and it couldn't have gone any better. And I kind of thought that the hype and the storm around it had kind of died down a little bit until I received some fantastic news from the lovely guys at Start Fitness and Adidas, basically, who want to support me in my running career going forward, which is just absolutely unreal. So initially, after London, I tried to sit down and think about setting a long-term goal to basically make sure that I didn't rush back into training and racing too quickly. That didn't go to plan. I ran straight back into training, 200k weeks, a track race, and just fully burnt myself out. So consider this a lesson learned. And then I set myself the sights of Valencia Marathon at the end of the year. December 7th. Okay, Cole, got plenty of time to train for that, no worries. Have 3 weeks off, and then you've got plenty of time to rebuild. Then I'll find out that Adidas would like me to go and do Berlin Marathon in 10 weeks time, well, now less than 10 weeks time. So I should probably start training properly again. So obviously this came as a bit of a shock, a very, very good shock. Absolutely unbelievable news. Ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of being what I thought was a professional athlete. Obviously kids don't dream of money as such. I dreamed of representing my country and I dreamed of running being my job. But to be honest, I never thought I actually quite had the talent to get there. And who's to say whether I still do. But I've grown up in this world of technology and social media, and you can make money in the sport and make it your career in different ways, different alleys. So I knew pretty early on that if I was ever going to make it in the sport, I needed to have something else about me. I needed to tell my story in a different way because performance alone wasn't going to get me there. And that's where the YouTube channel started. I started creating YouTube content. God knows, the first 100 videos were absolute dross, like horrendous content, badly edited, and yeah, just the content itself wasn't very good. But it allowed me to generate or create this community where I was able to tell my story and get eyes on me as an athlete in a different way. I didn't need to run super dizzy height performances because I had another avenue, which is this YouTube channel. So I don't know if any of you guys have watched the latest Ran to Japan video where he talks about being sponsored as a professional athlete with Brooks, which is obviously a massive kudos to him. And this is kind of the same. This is my version, I guess. And it's the exact same pretty much in terms of, yes, there's a performance component to this sort of professional contract, if you want to call it that, but there is a massive content creation side as well. And I would definitely not consider this a full professional contract. And I will not be satisfied with making money through the sport until it's off of performance alone. Sub 210 being one of the lead Brits over the marathon distance, I will not stop until that's either not possible or I've completed it, basically. Anyway, this video is going to basically be me unpacking this, Berlin, what do I think is possible, what have I got planned going forward, the actual kind of, I guess, the contract nitty-gritty side of things, how do you make money from this, or how am I making money from this, and yeah, just dive a little bit deeper, I guess. Let's go sit somewhere else. So, as I said, Berlin Marathon, 10 weeks to go. I've been back training for 2 weeks, so the total block, if you like, will be about 12 weeks in total. Now, I took 3 weeks off completely. I was mentally burnt out and just needed a bit of a reset, and I definitely don't regret that. But 12 weeks to get fit after having 3 weeks off, it's gonna be a close call. And I guess maybe you want to call this series kind of a race against time. Can I get fit in 10 weeks from now? We shall see. I have full faith. But that does mean that the goalposts might change a little bit in terms of what do I want from Berlin Marathon. Now, ultimately, I'd love to be in PB shape, and that's what I'm going to be aiming for. I'm going to do everything I can in training to get myself in the best place possible, but also not put so much into it that actually it ruins potentially Valencia as well. So I'm gonna have to make a bit of a call a couple weeks out from Berlin, depending on how the fitness is, and luckily I've got a race, I'm doing the big half, first week in September, so it gives me kind of 2 weeks to decide where am I, what do I want to achieve at Berlin, and what do I want to achieve past Berlin, because ultimately short-term goals are great, but long-term goals are where the money's made. But if you were to ask me, sat here right now, do I think I could be in PB shape in 10 weeks time? Honest answer, yes, I think I can be. I'm in a good place. Training is starting to come together a little bit. I'm not as fit as I was leading into London. And in fact, 10 weeks before London, I was running sub 30 10K as my PB. Whereas this time, I'm going to be having to peak for Berlin rather than being already fit. But it's just an opportunity of a lifetime to do another world major in a city I've never been to, and to be supported by Start Fitness and Adidas, both through gear, financially, and just in general, it's just such an amazing feeling. I had some offers post-London, some relatively life-changing amounts of money offered on the table, but with all transparency, I turned them down because I felt like it maybe diminished my integrity. You guys would see that I was essentially selling my soul for products or brands I didn't believe in. Whereas Adidas, I've been into Adidas since I was a kid, basically. My first ever pair of proper running shoes was a pair of Adidas. I can't remember the name. I think it was like a Boost Glide or something like that. I'll put a photo on the screen. And that was back when Parkrun used to give out a sweatshop shoe voucher for a park runner each month. And that month I won it, and then went to the local sweatshop and bought, and used my voucher for a pair of Adidas running shoes. And since then, like, Adidas has kind of been like the main brand in my running rotation, really. My dad has been an Adidas fanatic since he kind of got into running as well. He's always wearing his Prime X's, Pro 3s, Pro 4s. So yeah, Adidas felt like a natural fit for me, and it didn't feel like I was selling my soul to the highest bidder or potentially compromising my integrity, which is something that I really, really didn't want to do. And yeah, as I said, I had some good offers on the table, but they just didn't fit me, you know? Money doesn't buy happiness. So what this means going forward is, yes, there is a financial component to this kind of partnership with Adidas and Start Fitness, if you like. I am gonna be paid a salary, if you wanna call it that. So how is that gonna affect my full-time job as an osteopath already? To be honest, it might not change drastically. The money is good, but ultimately all the time I can fit my training around work, I will, because ultimately I'm at that sort of age where I'm saving for a house or saving for my future, essentially. So as much as I can balance the plates, I will try my best to do that. And yes, this is a massive advantage, obviously being supported by a brand or two big brands. It doesn't add pressure, but it kind of makes you go, right, you got to put your money where your mouth is now. Like, you got to start training. 216 was good, but it wasn't world class. How do I get to that next stage now that I've got the support of these two like big brands, basically? And that's what I'm going to be kind of navigating going forward and documenting through this YouTube channel, is my training. I'm essentially a boy with a dream, a boy who dreamed of representing his country and becoming a fully professional athlete, and that's what I'm still chasing to become. And this channel is going to be documenting that process, my training, racing. How am I going to get from A, where I am now, to B, which is potentially, say, an Olympic dream? Is it even possible? Who bloody knows? But I'm going to give it everything I've got. So yes, essentially running is kind of becoming a bit of my job, and that's something that I've got to navigate mentally, in terms of it's always been a hobby, and that came with very, very little pressure, or only pressure that I kind of put on myself. Whereas now there is another side to it, whereas there's brands and people, I guess, above me who want a certain return in their investment, which is obviously totally understandable. The sport is essentially a business, doesn't matter what sport you do. Extremely, extremely exciting stuff. I'm absolutely buzzing for this opportunity, like absolutely unreal. But ultimately I know that I've got at least, I'm 24 years old, I've got at least 8 to 15 years of peak running ahead of me, depending on how things go, injuries, health, etc. And I know I can do some exceptional stuff, even though I haven't quite done it yet. I know that I've got the willpower, the ability to get the training done. I will do it, and I will do everything I can to the best of my ability. So yeah, the plan will have to change. My original plan was to kind of slowly build some 5Ks, 10K, half marathons, bit of cross-country season up until Valencia. Obviously throwing in another marathon in there does change things slightly. So the plan is going to essentially be, I've got some 5Ks through August, I've got a half marathon at the start of September, and then obviously Berlin on the 21st of September 2025, and then there's 11 weeks between Berlin and Valencia, so that gives me 1 week of complete downtime, which is what I didn't do post London. I went straight back into training around 100k the week after London. Big mistake, lesson learned. So I have 1 week completely resting after Berlin, and then another 10-week block into Valencia. So I know for certain one of the two is going to be a PB attempt. I'm hoping I'll be in good shape by Berlin, and that's what I'm going to be working towards. But ultimately I know that in my back pocket I have got Valencia if needed. But likewise, that could also be a bit more of a chill one if Berlin does really well and I decide actually I need a little bit more of a recovery from it. Ultimately, my health will always come first. The brands know that, I know that, my family knows that, because at the end of the day, obviously I'm a runner, but I'm a human being first, and that's something that is very important, and I think we should all remember that. But anyway, I've got to get ready. I've got a second threshold session to do. I did my lactate threshold one this morning. I did 5 by 7 minutes around the track, and then this evening I'm going to be doing 24 times 300 meters at LT2 with about 100 meters jog recovery around the grass track. So I'm kind of fully back into training. This week is looking like a 200 kilometer week, so it bodes well as long as the body can stay fit and healthy. And then this financial support that I'm going to be gaining will give me access to things like nutritionist, potentially a S&C coach. Will I potentially get a fully fledged running coach? Because as I've mentioned on the channel before, Ellis has been helping me whenever I've had any questions. But because we are mates, there is that blurred lines of, I don't know, like it lacks the professional capacity, I guess. And that's absolutely nothing against Ellis. He's a fantastic runner, even better bloke, and just, well, he really knows his stuff. But because we are mates, there does feel like there's a blurring of lines there. So potentially I'll look into potentially getting a coach. And it just, yeah, gives me a little bit extra, more money for nutrition, more money for recovery, potentially training camps in the future, which obviously potentially a good thing. I didn't need one for London, and obviously I've got to take into consideration how much time I can take away, because obviously I have ultimately still got my full-time job as an osteopath, still got a business to run. But yeah, anyway, right, let's get changed, ready for training, and yeah, head for lactate threshold 2, because I'm still doing the double threshold, because I truly believe it. Just doing a warm-up ahead of my lactate threshold 2 session this evening, but just continuing on from what I was saying, I think the main thing for me that really gives me comfort is that there feels like there's a plan. It doesn't feel like I'm blindfolded going into this Berlin Marathon. It doesn't feel like I've just sold my soul and I'm just going in, taking the money and leaving. It's not like that. It feels like it's part of the plan, and it feels like a really good opportunity. And I think something that really matters to me is that people that have been following my journey, yourself, people that have invested in my journey, friends, family, you guys at home, it's important to me that you guys know that I have integrity. I don't just do ads on or sponsorships on the most ridiculous products, and also that I'm being sensible with my journey and my career, because there's nothing worse than seeing a young person kind of wasting their potential, buggering around, for want of a better phrase. So that's something I definitely don't want to do. So have faith that I've got the right people around me guiding me, and I think I'm making sensible decisions. And ultimately that this is something that I've wanted for a very long time, and it feels like my dreams are kind of coming true a little bit, which may sound cringy, but it's kind of what it is. Like, I love running. It's my one true passion in my life. Something that I've always done, even when times have been tough, and running has been a part of it, part of that reason. It's also been a massive part of the reason that's got me out of those bad times. So it's the one constant in my life that never seems to go away. it's just such a surreal feeling like everything's kind of clicking, coming together, and I just can't wait to give another marathon a go. I didn't think it would be this soon, but God, I'm raring to go. I just can't wait. Absolutely buzzing. And this partnership with Adidas and Start Fitness, it's not been an overnight thing. This has been weeks and weeks of dotting I's, crossing T's, making sure that it's right for everyone involved, basically. So I'm young, I like to think I've got quite a lot of potential, and I don't want to squander it too early or kind of back the wrong horse. And I definitely don't think that's the case. I think both Adidas and Start Fitness have my best interest at heart. And they've even said there's no pressure on Berlin. If I decide the week before I want to use it as a recce for potentially next year, use it as a getting used to filming on race day and making this kind of more natural, then I can do that, which is a really nice thing. So I'm waffling. We should probably get this warm up done, get on with the session. I'm using a new camera, so hopefully the audio's been alright.
Yeah. Words like rifle, get shady on the mic, yeah. Pure like idol, get wavy if I like, yeah. Visionary eyes, yo, I see behind the hype, yeah. Heavy is the crown and the energy is light. Lifted, drifted, all throughout the night. Get the pen and paper right, keep talking to my guys. Yo, unleashing all the dragons, yeah, you know I might. Stay behind the yellow line, I stay behind the mic, yeah. Underground is murky, you win some, you lose some. Rap we do is quirky, they use some, they move some. Fight or flight, either way we get gruesome. Mum needed some, we said they're fit and we gruesome. I beg your pardon, that's veggies in the garden. You hurt my feelings and I watch my skin harden. Now we're at the crossroads, don't know what you started. So many live a life all broken hearted, yeah.
Come on guys, it's a video.
Life's about balance. So, session done. Feels like the legs are starting to come back to life, and I'm actually kind of growing in confidence every day, which is obviously a good place to be. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover in this video. And of course, there'll be plenty of videos leading into Berlin Marathon. I'm working on a little docu-series, very similar to the Alex Yee and like Clayton Young style approach. That's what I'm trying to go for, a bit more cinematic, a little bit of a deeper dive into me, I guess. That sounds so up my own arse, but that's essentially kind of what I want to go for. Build a bit more of a portfolio of really cool videos that I can look back on and be really proud, just like the London Marathon video. But yeah, just to finish off, a massive thank you to the guys at Start Fitness. Carl, Rachel and Kieran have just been 10 out of 10 fantastic people to work with. And I can't thank them enough because they've really kind of helped this kind of journey progress, I guess. And it just feels at the moment like every single day I just get one step closer to fulfilling my dreams, which is really cool. So yeah, if you have any questions about Berlin, drop them down below. And yes, let's get some marathon training done, shall we? Come on.